So, I signed my deal with Spontaneous. With spur of the moment music.
Spur of the moment music. So what did that encompass exactly in regards to like your deal, the way you set it up?
It was just a production deal. It was basically giving him guarantees in case I took his music and blew up with it. So if I took his music and blew up with it, he would basically have he would have the right to produce 2 records on whatever label deal I got. And I was okay with that at the time because, Spawn was a Grammy nominated producer at the time.
That's right. He did that record, The W, for Mystic.
Yeah, Mystic and Planet Asia.
Right.
There was one year in the Grammys where they had best, I think it was best female and male collaboration or something, and I think Ja Rule and Ashanti had won it or something like that for one of their records at the time because Ja was on top of the world. So Spawn was a Grammy-nominated producer at that time, and he was coming off of his deal with Good Vibe, and he had produced some stuff for Raekwon, and he was
right. He did the Lex Diamond shit, the Wu-Tang shit, and then we can talk about him some more later on. His story's crazy.
So I felt like the deal was fair and it was valid at the time, and what it did for me is it actually got me a source of really, really great music to be able to pick from to craft what was going to end up being my self-titled album that never actually came out.
That's right. You recorded a ton of stuff that year. You did that, and then you did a joint project with Spawn called CEO, which no one's ever heard, but I actually found the sessions for. We'll have to get into that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that was a big year. That was right around the time that I came into the picture.
That was right around
the time that I had met you.
Like 2004.
And at the time, you had just joined a group called FootSoliders, which consisted of a few members of the Tunnel Rats.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like Propaganda, Macho, Rafi, now known as Shamesworthy.
Well, Macho was a part of the Tunnel Rats. Macho had a lot to do with the FootSoliders. Like, don't get it twisted.
Oh, he featured, right? He wasn't a part of the group.
No. But he did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't get credit for.
Got it.
He handled a lot of the business dealings with the FootSoliders, and I'm eternally grateful to him. He featured on the project, I believe. And he was just a dope person to just be around and to be sort of like a mentor. Macho's another person that's he's a little bit older than me, so at the time I definitely looked at him as a mentor. Same as like with Dax and pretty much almost all of them. Like Shames, because Shames is a little older than me. Propaganda is a little bit older than me. All of these guys, like they had things going that I didn't have at the time. Like these dudes had records in stores, and they already had been doing like tours and shit, and like they had a buzz, they had a name in the in the gospel hip hop community.
That's right, because Dax was one of the two members of LPG with Journey Big,
exactly.
And Journey Big is probably the best, is one of the best MCs I've ever heard in my fucking life.
So it started with LPG. So I guess you opened up the can. So the Tunnel Rats were based off of a battalion in Vietnam. Dax's dad, R.I.P. Mr. Reynosa, he actually passed away this year. So rest in peace to Mr. Reynosa, man. I will always remember that man, and I am eternally grateful for the words of encouragement that man gave me, for real. But he was in a battalion in Vietnam, and they were called the Tunnel Rats. And there's like a story behind that, and hopefully you get to interview one of them, and they can kind of give you a breakdown of that story. But that's how it was kind of told to me. And then Dax and Journey had formed LPG in the 80s. And then when they decided to kind of start their own thing, that's when they decided to call the group the Tunnel Rats. And then, over years, they had like different members and stuff like that, some older, some younger. But around the time I became associated with them was shortly after they had kind of brought Propaganda into the fold. And at the time, the Tunnel Rats were Dax, Journey, Macho, Rafi, Propaganda, Zane, LC, Document, Dirt, because he was their producer.
Sev Static? Or was he like an external?
Static. I'm forgetting someone else. Please don't kill me if I'm forgetting your name. I already said Dirt. Why am I forgetting? I'm forgetting a couple other members, but they were a big group. This kind of like the Wu-Tang of gospel rap. Like they had a huge group, and every person in the group was dope. Like, and I'm not saying that because I'm associated with them. Before I was ever associated with them, I used to see them at shows. And I would always be like, yo, there's no one in this group that can't rap like really well, exceptionally well. Everyone. And then Dax and like Macho were like vocalists, so they would sing and like they might be the most underappreciated group of all time.
One of them for sure.
Yeah, like these guys.
Like, they're up there with like Freestyle Fellowship and groups like that.
I mean, bro, I got old records of so Macho and his sister Elsie had a group called New Breed.
That's right.
And at the time, you know, reggaeton had kind of taken off, like 04, 05. You know, you had like your Daddy Yankee, your Nicky Jams of the world kind of coming out.
Oh, yeah, all the Gasolina records of
and
the world.
And they did some reggaeton stuff that was just out of this world. And New Breed, I mean, I still have it. Like, next level. They were just next level, and they were highly underappreciated for what they brought to hip hop in general. I know that they were appreciated in the gospel world for sure. And even there, not as much as I felt like they should have been. These were elite level talent people.
Yeah, I mean, I know like Lecrae is world famous, but no disrespect to him, but Journey Big for me, him and Propaganda, I think are the best ever in that world to ever do it.
There's a good argument.
Those guys are that good.
There's a good argument for that, for sure. And Propaganda has a great relationship with Lecrae, so I'm sure there's no you know, there's no hard feelings there. We started the Foot Soldiers. I'll kind of tell you how that started. So I was at, I think it was DeVouet's spot that he was throwing at the time, called the Get Down. And Propaganda had pulled up, and he pulled up with like a mission, like he was on a mission. And he was like, where's Triune at? And I know I've known Prop for years up until this point because we went to rival high schools. He played basketball. He was a rapper on his campus. I was a rapper on my campus. So it was kind of that little competitive energy between us. And then when we kind of emerged into the LA underground scene and was going to these spots that we mentioned, like Elements and Foundations, I was seeing him all the time. We always was cool. So we came up to the Get Down on a mission. It was kind of like, yo, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, me and him never really had that kind of relationship. And I'm like, what do you need to talk to me for? Like, and he was like, yo, I really want you to be a part of this thing that I'm doing. It's like some battle rap thing. And you're like the guy for that. So you should be a part of it. I was like, well, give me some more info. So he invited me down to their studio called the Rack Hole in Whittier. And I went down there and they gave me the whole concept. And a lot of people don't even know the concept of the Foot Soldiers. The concept of the Foot Soldiers was we were all 5 battle rappers that could as well make music.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. And what the plan was is for us to go on tour battling MCs, and whoever loses takes the other MC's rhyme book. And that was the whole thing. We was like going around, and not just for that, but also like battling for money and shit. Like we were basically like a battle crew, almost like the Scratch Pickles of rap.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of the concept, and of course it changed. But that was the initial concept, and we even shot like a little like documentary called The Foot Soldiers that like it's in existence. I don't know who has it, but there was something called The Foot Soldiers where they showed this. They showed them meeting issues. This is before I was even a part of the group. Them meeting issues. And, you know, that sort of thing kind of taking place. And they showed like us battling each other. Like I battled 50 Cal, I battled Propaganda, I battled
I've got the footage of you battling Propaganda.
Yeah. No, you have different footage. I'm talking about we have footage like we got this like warehouse space in downtown LA, and there's like all of us are in there. The Foot Soldiers in there battling. So a lot of people don't even know like who the members of the Foot Soldiers were. You know, like the core members, myself, Prop, Shames. But the Foot Soldiers was myself, Propaganda, Shames Worthy, 50 Cal, who I don't know where this guy is today, but if you get a chance to watch this, please reach out to me. Love you, 50. Random, So random from Area 51 out here from the 626. And it was Issues from Athens, Georgia. And who was the last member? Why am I forgetting this? Am I tripping? Am I bugging?
No, I think that's everyone.
That is everyone. I think that's it. Oh, and there was an early member. I don't even want to get into that. There was an early member that ended up not kind of working. I guess him and Dax had some differences and shit. And so he ended up not being a part of the group. But that was the core group. And yeah, we...
Got a clique full of shooters. They won't let me